Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Metis Balaska, and welcome to the stream. So, been a while since we've been back to this series, and I'll be honest, I do not remember where we left off, like at all. But yeah, I am planning to like make some other things into the Sunday slots. But I wanted to get back to this, but because between like the celebration stream, the collab I did with Robin and that one time I had to cancel. I had to cancel the Sunday stream altogether. I felt that I should get back to this game, especially since we're in the middle of a character's story. So let's get to it. Hopefully the game won't give us trouble starting. Because I don't know, this game's been kind of weird when it comes to starting up. And there it is. All right, exit Steam, enter Steam. Because for some reason, not only that works. This has to be a bug with the PC version that they have yet to fix. Because this is the only Arc System game this is the only Arc Systems work game that does this. And it just did it again. It just stopped.
The following sponsors are Persona 4 Arena.
All right. Okay, so how do I load up a bookmark? Chapter 13. Oh, starting right off with a mirror match. Well, semi-mirror match because shadows count as different characters in this game. And with a butt bump. I'm trying to... Nothing after scene in Nothing after scene in 13. We're actually almost at the end of Chie's story, apparently.
I won.
Having managed to calm my raging shadow, I turned back to the other two girls. I was able to protect them, right?
What was that all about?
Oh yeah. I'm really sorry I doubted you.
Okay, so yes, we're pretty much at the reveal part. Rise-chan and I quickly explained what just happened to the shaken girl. How in this world, your repressed inner thoughts, your shadow separates from you. How it appears in the form of your other self and tries all sorts of tricks to try and take the real person's place. Then again, in my case, I had experienced that once already, and I should have been okay, but looks like I did it again.
So, the real cause of this was actually me.
A shadow. A repressed self.
This is a kind of weakness of fighting game stories, because even if you're going into this fresh, yes, no, it's not. We know kind of what's going on, because we know there's a basic sense of what's going on, but the story mode is like, how do the pieces fit together, and how do the characters relate to each other?
I'm not surprised it hasn't registered. It is coming from left field for you.
I'm bad at explaining things, after all. That said, I do think the twist in the story mode that's kind of gonna come up is actually a legit good twist. If only someone smart like Naota-kun was here right now, she'd be able to explain things a whole lot better. In fact, I think Arc System Works is pretty good with working in their stories. But what's important isn't that this girl understands what happened. It's that I have to accept my shadow once more.
What the?
I thought I eliminated any possibility of her heart breaking free. Did she not suffer enough? No. I did everything right.
The light suddenly drop, plunging the room into darkness, and a voice echoes through the gloom. The voice, that's not my shadow. What in the world's going on?
Teddy?
I realized that the fake Teddy was suddenly standing in the room without us noticing him. Huh? Where'd my shadow go then?
I get it. She was pretending to be General Teddy this whole time. Am I right?
That's right.
Looks like you'll be alone forever. No one can understand you.
Huh?
It might look like Teddy again, but that tone of voice and way of speaking are nothing like what Teddy would say. What he's saying is a bit weird too. Maybe he's not actually talking to me? Could he be talking about this other girl? What could this mean?
Put an end to this game. Are you still going to keep deluding yourself?
Delude? Whoa, wait a sec. Aren't you supposed to be my shadow? No, that shadow, it's resonating with Miss President. What?
What a shocker.
I'll show you.
This turn of events is perplexing, but the fake Teddy smirks and snaps his fingers. Say again!
I am a shadow. The true self.
No way. That's the other girl's face. That's her shadow? She cries out, apparently in shock over seeing that shadow. Overseeing that that the shadow has robotic limbs. What's going on?
Does this mean it was this girl's shadow all along?
That's right. And like you just saw, I can distort people's appearances and words.
It distorted people's appearances and words? So was it just taking on Teddy's form this whole time? And she was making my friends say things that they didn't mean?
That other me just now.
That was this shadow too? The shadow smirked at the perplexed look on my face.
Why do you think I have such power? It's because I'm her and she's me. That's right. She's the real liar here.
Don't be ridiculous. I didn't lie.
Oh, please. Just look at me. I look exactly like you.
That's not true.
The shadow draws closer, making a point to show off her body. She has a mechanical body with large wing-like metallic parts jutting from her back. These wings turn into a giant axe that the shadow grabs from the air. The girl looks away, as if to try find a way out. I take this opportunity to speak up.
Don't worry. There's no need to be scared. That's just a twisted version of you. Shadows try to make the original person deny them. It'll be okay, but you need to calm down.
A twisted version of her? She's the one that's twisted. You still refuse to remember? Look at me. And stop deluding yourself.
The shadow snaps her fingers. What's it going to turn into now? I brace myself for the shadow to change, but I don't expect what happens next. The shadow doesn't change, but the girl does. Her arms quickly change, right before before our eyes. Her hands turn pale and smooth, becoming something inhuman. In seconds, she's the same as her shadow.
Miss President's body? What is this? Another illusion? I don't think so. I knew something was weird when I first sensed her. That girl isn't human. No! No! Don't look at me!
She tries to hide her body from us, but she can't hide everything. The shadow sneers even more as the girl curls up on the floor, even spins the axe as if taunting her. Even though the shadow has the same face as her, seeing her wield such a giant chunk of metal so effortlessly only shows how monstrous she really is. The shadow brandishes the axe in her hands without hesitation. That's when... Oh, hi!
Kanji-kun!
Kanji-kun bursts in through the wall. Well, it looks more like he was thrown through it. He isn't moving an inch.
You came to save us! Or not.
Kanji, always good times. It's no use, he's completely unconscious. A voice I've heard somewhere before comes from the other side of the new hole in the wall.
You must be Labris.
Hi!
You're that red cape guy from before.
Sure enough, the owner of that voice is the guy in the red cape. He steps into the room, brushing dust from his shoulders. Is he the one that blasted Kanji-kun in here? Then is he an enemy? I take a defensive stance, but he ignores me. Instead, he fixes his gaze on the girl and her shadow.
Another Labrys. Fine. I'll just calm them both down.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar, Labrys is what's known as a anti-shadow suppression weapon. And they are androids that were a part of P3. One of our party members was one, and they are made specifically to fight shadows. And they were also kind of named. They also, like, as far as I know, tend to be named after weapons. And it's like the one that joined us in P3 is Iga. It's named after the shield of Zeus, which is most commonly associated with Athena. And Labrys is a type of axe that's found in Crete. Or that was made in Crete, I should say. He smirks confidently as he raises his fists. Who's Labrys? Is that this girl's name? It seems like he knows who she is. Who is this guy? I assume that's where the to be continued would be.
Why are you after us?
We've come to take you in. Would it clear things up if I mentioned the name Kirijo?
The shadow glares hatefully at the guy in the cape. The red cape guy takes off his hood and glares back at Miss President and her shadow. What? What does he mean by taking her in?
No! I'll never go back there! Damn it! Get back here!
The girl suddenly runs out of the room, her shadow in hot pursuit. The guy in the red cape tries to follow, but he trips over Kanji, who's still on the floor. God damn it, Akihiko. Kanji mumbles something in his stupor. Akihiko, I would expect something like this from Junpei, not from you. The girl and her shadow are incredibly fast. They left just seconds ago, and I can't even see them anymore. The guy with the red cape stands up, annoyed, and clicks his tongue. He just face planted, and he doesn't seem that bothered by it. Doesn't that hurt? But aside from that,
Who are you, really? What did you do to Kanji-kun?
We had a battle between men. Could you turn down a challenge for the title of strongest man?
Good God, Akihiko. Huh? What's he talking about? What the hell are you up to, Kanji-kun? I have so many questions to ask that I don't know where to begin. The guy turns his back to
I
me.
need to go after them. You're better off forgetting what you just saw.
Whoa, wait a sec. That's all very well for you to say, but hey, I said wait!
Without another word, he runs off. Talk about a one-sided conversation. Couldn't he have at least said his
This guy
name?
is so bizarre. I couldn't sense him approaching at all, and I can't track his presence now either.
Rise-chan bites her lip in frustration. She doesn't look well. She must have been concentrating hard this whole time. Of course, she's been under a lot of stress up until now. I need to let her rest a bit.
Rise-chan, take care of Kanji for me. Huh? Are you going after him?
Time for a patting chase!
Of course. No way I can leave that red cape weirdo or Miss President be.
I mean, that's really all this is. It's padding. That's really all this part is. It's padding. We're eventually we're going to land up here anyway. Because this is where the next fight coming up is going to happen. If she can't pursue them with her persona, then I'll catch up to them on foot. The basics of police investigation are in legwork, after all. I better be ready for when I catch up with you, Mr. Red Cape. After a bit of running around, I finally spot that conspicuous cape turning a corner in a hallway. Oh, right. This is just to set up the next battle. He's really fast. I could barely keep up with him, but thankfully the gym should be up ahead. Even though there's no way to be sure of that here. Good, I can take him on from here.
Hold it right there, Buster!
That said, this is still just padding. The guy stops to look back at me and frowns, but he doesn't attempt to run off again. Did he have a change of heart? I don't know what's going on, but I know I can catch up with him.
You're gonna tell me what's going on! Who is that Labras girl? Is she really a machine? And why are you after her? What are you gonna do once you catch her?
What good would knowing that do you?
What?
I'm here on a certain mission. You could even call it a duty. My resolution is nothing like yours, based on curiosity.
I mean, to be fair, this is a battle that should happen in the story. Like our two freehand and as it were fighters clashing.
A duty?
He wraps his knuckles on the air behind him, and there's a sound. It seems like there's another invisible wall keeping him from going on.
Ridiculous Grand Prix is still going on.
What? Wait, you mean...
I quickly turn around to check the section, and I just come through. When I reach out my hand, I feel a wall. I feel a wall there. And to be fair, it is best that they meet each other with their real voices, rather than having the whole manipulation thing going on.
We're trapped. So, like, do we...
That's what you get for coming after me so recklessly. The rule that one opponent must be defeated is still in effect.
One of the tournament's rules: you can't leave if you don't fight and win. In other words, in order to keep following the girl, I have to fight this scary-looking dude. He slammed Kanji right through a wall. I'm sure this guy has to be a Persona user too. He said that he had come to take her in. I'm guessing he came through a TV on his own too. Do I have a chance of beating this guy? No, I can't doubt myself. I have to do this. I muster up all my courage and square off against him.
All right, I accept.
Huh. Why are you willing to go to such lengths to catch up to Labras?
Labras. So I guess that it's this Miss President's real name.
I don't know why. I just know that she was in pain. I don't know if my reasons are better or worse than yours, but I can't turn my back on her.
When I say that, his eyes get even more intense. I almost flinch, but I know that I can't look weak in front of this guy. I glare right Excuse me? I glare right back at him. I've seen that look in people's eyes before. I've seen it in people acting with determination that never wavers. In the eyes of my friends, while we fought so hard all through last year, I can't look away from that strength of resolve. That's when his expression softens slightly, and he answers.
To answer your questions, what you saw was the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris. She was given a heart so she could use a persona.
A weapon? Then she really is a robot. But she's so cute. And she even sounds like a normal girl.
Hey, I take offense that being an exception to the rule. I mean, look at me. I mean, I know I'm a goddess in a robot body, but still.
Oh, so that's what her lost memories were about. And since she has a heart, she has a shadow too.
She has a shadow? Do you mean the thing where there's 2 of her?
I nod and tell him about how this world works, especially about the shadows. I'm not great at explaining things, but I've already told Labris not too long ago. But I've already told Labris not too long ago, so I should know what to say. I hope. The guy in the cape listens quietly, nodding now and again, as if he understands everything I'm saying.
I get it now. The mastermind behind all this isn't Labris, but her shadow.
I think that's it anyway. She didn't have any memories and thought she was the student council president. But I wonder what's with this tournament. What could she have wished for to make this happen?
I have some suspicions about that.
Yeah, this is something I do like. While they did buff up Bakihiko to, let's be honest, some ridiculous degrees, because he was the only character that fit the bill. Well, he's not a muscle. Like I said in my P3P in my P3P playthrough one on the Temple Archives, he's not a musclehead. It's just that he sometimes has this problem where he doesn't think things through. How did Linkara explain this when he was talking about Booster Gold? He's an A to B thinker. At least that's what I think. His thought process is if A is the problem, you do B to solve it, which can be foolish, but not always.
Labris may have been forced to do some inhumane things while she was in development.
Oh yeah, we know all about that. Just check out my Labris playthrough on YouTube.
Her original circumstances may be related to the setup of this Grand Prix.
Then, this tournament is a reenactment of what Labris went through in her past?
Looks like you'll be alone forever and no one can understand you. I recall what the Shadow said. That's what Labris had been feeling all this time.
Wanted someone to understand how she felt. Is that it?
So that... excuse me. Sorry. So that's why she made people fight against her friends. Because she had to do it in her past. But still, nobody could understand her. That may have been what the Shadow was saying. I was doubting her too. I didn't even try to believe what she was saying. Even though my way of doing things wasn't great, I'm starting to get lost in my own thoughts. But the Cape Guy speaks up.
That's all I can tell you. If you still want to search for her, you'll have to defeat me to move on. What'll it be?
I search for the right words within me. I need to think it through before I say anything. I can see the strength in his eyes, waiting for me to say the right thing. I can't say I'm doing this just because.
Wish to make us go through what she went through. That means she wanted to be understood. She wanted someone to save her.
That's just your guess, though.
But if it's possible I'm right, then I can't abandon her. That's why I won't go back until I've saved her. Her heart is worth fighting for.
I'm looking straight into his eyes as I say this, and he smiles. But even though he's smiling, he suddenly seems a lot more
What's your
menacing.
name? Mine's Akihiko Sanada.
I'm Chie Satonaka, a third year at Yasagami High.
I like the fire in your eyes. Then let's fight and see whose passion comes out on top.
Final. Fight!
I'm not giving up. KO'd.
How am I doing so well all of a sudden? I think I remember getting the crap beat out of me with Chie before. And I took a very long break. Like practically a month. Look at that! The last save here is the 11th of December. It's been over a month since I last played this game. Whew! That was a hard fight, but
I won?
Looks like it.
I won. Akihiko-san stands up and quietly speaks to
Tell
me.
me, Chie, what are you gonna do when you get to Labris?
What will I do when I get to her? I need to answer this properly, too. Now that I've won, I can't half-ass anything.
Gonna apologize for saying such awful things to her. But that's not all. I want to talk to her. Really come to an understanding with her. Even if things are too painful for you to endure on your own, you can still overcome them if you have friends to help. I know that. And I want to show her that too. That's why I won't let her be alone.
It's not good. I wanted to be strong and straightforward, but my feelings got ahead of my brain, and I couldn't say it in the way I couldn't say it the way I wanted to. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but that's honestly how I feel. I stand there sheepishly, but Akihiko's expression softens and he smiles. It's not the same as the determined smile he had before. This is a kind one.
Remind me a little of my friends.
Your friends?
I'm sure you'll be able to do the right thing. Do what your heart tells you.
With that, he takes off his cape and sits on the ground. He hasn't said anything more, but I can tell what he means. Hurry up and go now in my place. That's what he's saying, right?
Thank you very much.
I thanked him before I realized what I was saying. I mean, Akihiko believed in me. Even though we just met, he was placing his faith in me. I may not be the best talker, but we communicated with our fists, and we've come to an understanding. Then all I can do now is run. My legs, my heart, everything feels light. I should be able to reach out to that girl now, for sure.
I finally made it back.
While I was on the way, Rise-chan contacted me. Lapras and his shadow seem to have returned to the announcement room together, which is why that was padding. I mean, it's still good padding because there was a fight. It was a fight that felt like it needed to happen at least once in the series, but it was still padding. It's kind of like Samurai Jack in a way. Samurai Jack had a lot of episodes that were padding, but they were still good padding. If they're together, then it most likely means that Lapras has been taken captive by the Shadow. If they're in the same place, then Akihiko and I were made to fight just to bide in time. Luckily, Rise-chan says that she's already escaped to a different room. She's complaining about how heavy Kanji-kun is. She carried Kanji. I mean, kudos to Rise on that. Kanji can't be liked. I guess he hasn't woken up yet. In any case, when I open the door, it'll be a one-on-one battle against the Shadow. I take a deep breath and open the door.
Miss President. Oh, Lapras? Are you here?
That man told you to come here, didn't he?
The moment I enter, a sharp voice calls out to me. I see the speaker standing alone in the center of the room. Is she the Shadow? No, this is Lapras herself. Of course, her Shadow has to be watching from close by, too. I can't let my guard down.
I didn't. I came here because I wanted to.
You just want to capture me like all the others. Well...
Lapras reaches out for the battle axe attached to her back. I can see it in her eyes that she's serious about this.
I didn't come here to fight you.
I'm never going back there. I never want to get put through that again. I'm gonna run away. Just you watch me. If anyone gets in my way, I'll stop them all!
It's no use, she's not listening. She's completely worked up. It must be because of her past was so painful. But I need her to calm down right now. I brace myself for a fight and get ready.
I can't stop now. There's something I need you to know.
Finally. Fight!
Oh, seriously? No! Seriously? Don't count me out. No, close! I'm in trouble now. Give it up! Give it up! That was close! That was close! Seriously? You're pretty good.
Don't let her charge up! Mistakes were made! But she didn't capitalize! I got her in the corner and she didn't manage to hit me. That could have gone way worse for me.
Why? Why won't anyone understand?
Lapras, I wanted to...
I kneel down and talk to Lapras, who's on the floor. The scenery beyond the glass wall begins to distort. This... Uh-huh. What is this? It's so horrifying that I almost fall backwards. These things shaped like people are hanging everywhere. There's a giant furnace-like object in the center, and more of the things crammed into it like trash. What in the world is this? Don't tell me, is this what Labrys has kept hidden inside her heart? When I come back to my senses, I notice that Labrys has appeared behind, that the shadow has appeared behind Labrys.
Don't you get it? That'll never happen.
You!
Of course Chie-san's angry. You did lie to her after all. And wow, you didn't hesitate for a second to attack her. So you do want her to suffer then. You want to make her go through what you did, right?
That's not true!
You want the everyday boys and girls to experience what you had to go through, right? That's why we're in a school having a fighting tournament. You want to see close friends fight for their lives against each other. Because if they do that, then they might understand. You want to make them understand.
That ain't true!
Labrys clutches her head. I try to reassure her, but nothing I say seems to reach her. It's like the shadow is the only voice she can hear. The shadow twists its mouth into a smile and continues whispering into Labrys' ear.
It was all for nothing. It just left you more of an outcast than ever. It's all right, though. I'll take care of everything from here. I'll destroy anyone who doesn't understand you and comes to get in your way. Just like you once did.
Stop it! That's all a lie. Not me! Labrys, no! You can't be me!
Finally! You finally said it! Now, I can be myself!
Yes! The power!
Big Bull! A shadow going berserk. No matter how many times I see it, it's still overwhelming. But now isn't the time to think about this and stuff like this. Okay, I do have to kind of say this. I do think that this first story could have benefited a little more from a more condensed narrative structure. Like what they did with the episodes of the like what they did with the P4AU story. And that one is just like two different stories with like pretty good, pretty significant differences between them. Here, because every character has their own story. Yes, every character can be the main character, but it kind of suffers from having to hit the same or similar story beats a lot. Labrys goes limp and falls. You gotta fix that one, Arc. Or rather, no, the people who localize the game. Falls to the floor, and I stand between her and the shadow to protect her.
Okay, just wait for me.
I'm exhausted from today's series of battles. The shadow has an immense power. And even worse, I'm all alone in this fight. It's unlike anything from last year. But I'm surprisingly confident in myself. Of course I'm nervous, but I have a strong resolve, and it makes up for my fear, for any fear I might have. I mean, this is my wish after all. It's my dream too.
Protect you. If this is about wanting to protect someone, I damn well won't lose.
Wow! What the hell?
It's over.
I like to note that this game's on normal by the way. I did not change this, change the settings of this game. The shadow finally stops moving. I also sink to my knees as the tension drains out of me. But Lapras is safe. She's still trembling behind me, but at least she's not hurt. I was able to protect her, right?
Huh? Why did you protect me? Weren't you mad?
Yeah, I can't blame her for thinking that. I was really angry back then, after all. I didn't even try to understand what Lapras was feeling. But seeing Lapras with that blank look on her face is funny for some reason, and I can't help but laugh.
I wasn't mad at all. Actually, it's you who should be mad at me. I said so many awful things to you. I'm really sorry.
I mean, I can't remember anything, any of them, because it's been so long since I last played the game.
I could never be angry at you. I'm the one who did all those awful things.
Lapras looks over to the shadow. There is pain on her face. I wonder if she still can't completely accept her shadow. No, of course she can't. It's not something you can just accept without a lot of soul searching. She'd spent this whole time being tormented by what the shadow represented. Considering that Lapras seems like a serious person, she might be the type to think that everything is her responsibility. But that's not true. There's no need for her to bear this alone. I want to tell her that so badly right now.
About this Grand Prix. I mean, yeah, it was tough, but it wasn't all bad.
Huh?
It taught me a lot of important things.
My weakness, the ambiguity of the dream I embraced. And I also was able to remember again the fact that I'm not alone. Just as the shadow said, my weak self may never completely disappear. But I can face that. I mean, I have friends with me after all. I'm not alone. That's why I'll be alright. I'll overcome it no matter how many times I need to from now on.
I want to thank you. And your other self over there, too. I still don't know what kind of pain you've been through. So tell me about it. I want you to tell me everything, like how you feel and what you're thinking.
Tell you about myself?
Mm-hmm. I'll listen. If you have something that's too painful to bear alone, then let's work it out together.
Together? I'm not alone anymore?
I nod back to her. After hearing my words, Lapras finally looks up and looks to her other self. She's still trembling, but she isn't looking away anymore. I was so bad at explaining myself, but I think she understands what I was trying to say. Lapras stands up and walks towards her other self. I watch her as she walks over to the shadow, standing tall. Her posture tells me how she feels. It says, I'm alright now.
I'm sorry I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone. No. You are me, after all. is my persona.
Now that Lavras has accepted herself, she turns towards me. That's when she finally smiles. It's a smile from the bottom of her heart that I can tell she's never shown to anyone before. It makes even my heart skip a beat. Man, this girl is really pretty. Do I need to make it more of a case that Chie, that I think Chie is bi?